So let's talk about a loss leader, or basically a hook to get a client or a patient into your business. I've talked a lot about it. I've written a lot about it. And somewhere along the line, I need to keep making myself clearer and clearer, and need to talk more about it because it's one of the principles a lot of people have some slight problems, considerations with it. All right. Let me first hand off say this. I 100% believe that if you try to have everyday low prices, you'll go broke. Almost all companies who have done that are on that road. Sure, there's Walmart, which exactly didn't go broke with that, but it's unlikely that that principle will work for most of us. Okay, so many from airlines to all kinds of things have gone broke with everyday low prices. Everyday low prices, number one, if you don't make enough profit, it isn't worth doing the work. You have to expand so hugely to make a little bit of money out of it, and that hugely expansion in itself, if you're not super organized and super willing to experience this hugeness and even can do it, it isn't working. So for, let's say, most dentists and stuff, that super hugeness isn't quite working. So anyway, doesn't mean a certain hugeness isn't working. I have plenty of doctors who went from 1 practice to 3, 4, and 5 practices and have 3 to 5 doctors in each practice. And that's not yet what I call super hugeness, but it's quite huge and still takes a certain character of people to want to go in that direction. And my job isn't to push you in a certain direction. But in any way, everyday low prices will not work because you're not making enough money, and everyday low prices does not attract and compel any potential patients or clients to come because the price is low every day. No reason to come. We can do it tomorrow. All right. So that's why you have companies like Sears, JCPenney, and whatever it may be, still having 4th of July sales and all those special holiday sales all the time. Okay. And they're very strict with it, and people come in droves for it. And any high professional such as a dentist or whatever thinking that, well, that works for them, but I'm a dentist and that would degrade me and I would be doing this, is you're already gone. Okay? You're already gone. Explain that to your kids and your family, that you're not making money because you're not applying the right business principle, because I'm a doctor. Okay? And go and shoot your professors in school and university who probably never in their whole life worked much, and if they didn't do well at it, at least not from a business level, which is why they went into teaching, and who apply a principle from 50 years ago where one didn't have to do marketing at all, where there was only a few doctors around, and of course the reputation there counted, and it was easy to get on top of it, kind of things. Today, people don't look up to a doctor anymore. You're a business person who wants their money just like everyone else, and if you think any different, look in your pocket. Okay? If there's little or nothing in it, then realize your thinking is wrong. All right, so a loss leader is a hook, a worm like a fisher. Now, I wouldn't know about fishing, I've never fished, but a bad worm doesn't attract fish, apparently. A bad hook, a bad bait doesn't attract fish. So you need to have a loss leader which is incredible. And not too long time ago, well, it happens all the time, but a few days ago, one of our new clients who hasn't read my loss leader package, and I talked to him about a loss leader. We sent him some brochures, some marketing. We designed some marketing for him to do the time sensitivity of an event we wanted to do. And his thinking is, if I do this enormous loss leader, I lose money and I ruin my reputation. Why would you ruin a reputation if you give something to people for less money to come in? Let me tell you something. When it comes to most services, especially services as intimate as dentistry and doctor work where, well, it's important to people, and not everybody wants to have everybody touching everybody. People need to be with you for a little bit of time in order to trust you to do the rest of the service with you and to give you money. And people, especially when money is short these days, are not willing to give you money to find out whether they like you or not like you. They're not willing to give you a lots of money. So you do 10, 20 or 30% discount of something, it isn't worth it. They will not buy it. If you do a loss leader, which is bending on him buying something, like if you buy this, you get this free, that's not a loss leader. That is you first wanting their money to then give them something. They're not going for it. They rather pay full price. Once they like you, they're fine with all prices, which is why low prices are not needed to a certain degree with most people. And as long as it's not super exaggerated in terms of being high priced. But you've got to realize that people want to find out whether they like you, trust you, and don't want to pay money for that. And the only way to do that is, maybe the only way is a little bit exaggerated, but one of the super best way to do that is giving people something they can take to the bank. And if you happen to be a doctor, an exam and a consultation and x-ray is not something they can take to the bank. An exam and a consultation and x-ray is at best tools for your sales presentation. Doctors, I know this sounds not flattering, but your exam and your x-ray and your consultation is a sales presentation, and people are not willing to pay for a sales presentation. Now, since in your industry this is normal, so most of you tell me, oh, I'll do an exam and x-ray for free, a consultation, it's $180. Who gives a hoot? Keep in mind, if you want to do what your industry does, stay being broke. Just go and stay being broke. Don't hang around people like me. Just go and stay being broke. What your industry does in terms of making money doesn't work. Your industry has sold its soul in the medical field. The industry has sold its soul to HMO and BPOs long time ago. Long time ago. The biggest marketing expense you have is discounting your service to the insurance companies by 30, 40, 50 and sometimes 80%. And on top of it, them dictating it to you what you can do. And you all did that out of laziness and out of complete unknowing how to market and laziness to learn how to market. And then you call marketing consultants expensive, and then you call what we tell you expensive and the actual marketing steps expensive. And you call it degrading when I tell you to do a free exam and x-ray and a cleaning for $10 or $19 or $20. And when I tell you to give that money for that cleaning to a non-profit organization which feeds poor people or buys toys for poor people, then you call that degrading. What's degrading about feeding poor people? It's a win-win-win situation. The potential patient gets something which is enormously cheap for him and which he needs. He needs his family and him to get a cleaning. And at the same time, he helps feeding poor people because that money gets donated towards poor people. From small to large, super large companies, they advertise on radio and television that X amount of their money goes towards poor people. And if everything is even not quite even, people do business with somebody who supports the community. And especially if it's a small company like you, a doctor, to support the exact immediate community. He works like a bomb. Now this person who gets a $20 or $30 cleaning exam x-ray, which normally cost him $220, give or take, he saves $200 or whatever, and on top of it, the little bit of money he paid goes to poor people. Of course he feels like a winner. Of course he starts liking you. Of course he starts talking about you. And of course the community at large starts talking about you. The civic leaders, the church leaders, the school teachers, the fire department. Of course they start talking about you. The guy who is dishing out food or cooking food is in charge of this food kitchen. Of course they start talking about you. And they don't only talk to poor people, they themselves are not poor. The guys who do these food things, otherwise they couldn't do it. They might not be rich, but they're dealing with rich people all the time, or with well-off people, otherwise they won't get donations. Ladies and gentlemen, doctors, you have two choices.